I'm Rob Helpin of the MSPCA, and I sat down with Annette Scanlon, the social worker at Angell Animal Medical Center, for her thoughts on how to overcome the grief associated with pet loss. And here's what she had to say.
My name is Annette Scanlon, and I'm a licensed social worker. I've been a social worker for about 35 years, mostly in healthcare. More recently, before coming here, I was a social worker in hospice and palliative care. So I started at Angell as a veterinary social worker in June of 2017. And this has been a very exciting opportunity where I've been able to use my skills in hospice and palliative care. It's the exact same need, except the patient is a pet as opposed to a human being. But a lot of the struggles and the support that people need are very, very similar, including staff support. Staff in the veterinary field deal with death and loss and suffering on a daily basis, hourly basis, and the support they get is minimal because of their work. When a person has lost a pet, which often is such a integral part of their life, and that bond is so strong, they go into the new year with that feeling of something's missing, and so to help them, deal with that, we have kind of strategies that we can talk about. There's something in the grief world that's called the firsts. Experiencing the first of everything. So let's say it's been the first holiday you don't have your pet with you. That has a significance of its own. And as time goes on, people experience more and more of those firsts. And so one of the things that we try to help people do is to learn in a way to feel that sadness, but also to find ways to remember the joy in what that pet brought to you. I think groups can be very intimidating to people. It's a kind of a concept that not a lot of people have, experience with. I guess pluses of a group is that everybody there gets it. And so sometimes when I talk to a client about that, I'm like, you will be in a room where everyone there has experienced something very similar to what you've experienced, and they all get it. One of the things is I talk about journaling. So I couch journaling as having just a little notebook or a piece of paper that you keep in a specific location that's just there when you feel like you need it. And I suggest to people that they write down just whatever comes to mind, or draw a picture, or write down a quote that they just heard, anything that brings them back to the feeling of that loss. Writing it down sometimes gets it out of your head and on a piece of paper. Maybe you've written in your journal 5 times in a month, but you can look back and say, that first time I wrote, I was feeling this way, but look where I am now. And you can almost see your own progression. The second thing that people can do is to absolutely set up a little space in your home that is in memory of your pet. One of the things that often people will mention is that they're afraid they're going to not forget the pet, but forget the feeling that pet gave them. And you're afraid you're going to do that. And by having a space that you've given to that pet, I think helps you preserve that. Set a specific time where you spend, again, whatever amount of time you want to be. It could be a minute, it could be 5 minutes, it could be 10 minutes, where you spend time thinking about your pet. And the third thing that I think is very important is to not feel badly about talking about your pet after they have died. People are hesitant to do that. And by the way, a lot of this is true with human grief as well. When we lose a human, people are afraid they're going to make someone cry, or they're afraid that the other person doesn't really want to think about them. Getting a new pet after you've lost a pet is a very interesting dynamic in people's lives. What I try to help people do is to decide what's best for them, because everyone is very different. It depends on how you look at it. So I think the first thing is to ensure that someone feels as though that pet that they lost is unique, is special, will never be replaced. And so when you adopt a new pet, And it doesn't even have to be the same type of pet. It could go from a dog to a cat. It doesn't really matter. But you're getting a new pet. It's a new relationship. It's a new human-animal bond. There are so many pets that need homes, and you were such a wonderful pet parent. You know, think about wanting to give that to a new pet. And so,
group therapy and individual therapy sessions are always free to Angell clients. Visit angell.org/grief to learn more.